Hey everyone, it's your favorite ink slinger, your friendly neighborhood ink slinger. That is, I think I missed that. I cut that part out this last episode when it was the interview with Mrs. Inkslinger because she makes me nervous. It's really not my fault, I promise. Anyways, no, it was a great interview, and I wasn't nervous. I think I was probably more at ease having her next to me because that's that's usually how I do life. Obviously 40 hours at work where I'm away from her, and then pretty much most of the time I'm with her, right? Unless we have events or things that are for men or for women only, where where I would hope couples aren't going together. It's like this is a women's event, John. I don't know why you're here. Anyways, um, so in that interview, which was episode 7, if I'm not mistaken, the Candidly Devoted series. Yes, it's going to be a series. Um, I did mention one thing, which was about chapter 2, which is really the one thing I want to talk about this week. I want to talk about, I don't know if brevity is the right word. Um, it is, I don't know. I don't know if it's the shortest chapter, but it's one of the shorter ones. But it wasn't just that. It's just the fact that I was able to write it so quickly without really and I didn't think, and again, that I hate to break it to you. I yes, I wrote it, my hands and the pen, but honestly, I didn't think it. Like that was honestly that was God using me to write it, right? If I'm being 100% transparent. Okay? So, again, the first thing I want to talk about always in every episode is always going to be the progress. So I am progressing. I am on chapter 8. I think I'm on 3 or 4 pages of chapter 8. And I truly believe that if I keep this pace, I think I can be done with this novel in about 6 months. Again, that's assuming I keep doing what I'm doing. I don't lose focus. I don't lose track, and I keep this momentum, right. And that's really what I'm praying for. If I can, honestly, if I can even pick it up a little, that would really be my preferred thing to do. However, if I can just maintain, I feel like I'd be hitting my goal every single day, especially at 4 in the morning when it's time to get up there and write. So chapter 2, which is titled Blameless, when I wrote this chapter, the first thought in my mind was like, okay, so you're telling me that this captain who's been handpicked by government agencies or agents or whatever you want to call them, the people that handpicked him, they picked him because of his decades of training and ferocity, and he's not a regular soldier. He's a special forces soldier that's trained with other soldiers from other special forces, SEALs and Delta, like all of it. You name it, and not even just here stateside or just with the American Army, but the German military, the Israeli military. Again, it's my novel, so but this is the backstory that I've given to the protagonist, which I believe I haven't talked about that much in the novel. But in the novel, I'm really more concerned with um, the protagonist's relationship to the men and women that he recruits, right? That he calls in, um, and the mission that they face and how they face it, right? How do they overcome it? Do they overcome it, right? What I don't even know what the end game is, right? So, anyways, so all that to say, okay, so you're talking about someone who's got an MBA in being a badass. I forgive my French. So you mean to tell me he's gonna be reaching out to all these soldiers and not one of them is gonna be in trouble? And I was like, you know what? That's, again, it's a novel. It's not real, but at the same time, I was like, that's really unrealistic. Um, and I was like, well, let me just put one, and I didn't even pick them. I just wrote it out, and I was like, okay, it's gonna be this one, and all right, let's just go with it. And really, Blameless um, is like the prayer that the captain makes in order to to have God move things around to save that soldier. And again, I didn't, first of all, I didn't come up with the names for the titles, and I didn't come out with their layout, right, with their format, right, which one's chapter 1, 2, 3. It's all from Psalms 101. That's where I got the words, and that's where I got, how I'm going to title each and every chapter, right, in the order that psalm was spoken, written, recited, so on and so forth. So that was chapter 2. Again, and it's funny because what's funny to me is chapter 1 took me 2 years. I mean, really, and maybe that might be a lie. It might have been 18 months, but 18 months to write one chapter. And it's not like my first chapter is 300 pages. I don't even think it's 20 pages. It might be 17, right? I haven't counted. I'll do all the numbers, and I'll get all the words, and I'll make sure we have all those fun metrics, if you will. But it was just funny to me that it flowed, and I was done so quickly. Chapters 3 and 4 weren't as quick, but they were nowhere near the 18 months of the first chapter. And I think it's a few things. I was probably scared because I'm like, I've never written anything outside of school that it wasn't a research paper, or hey, we need, your thoughts on this, and it's got to be 500 words. I think the most I've had to do was maybe 1,000 words, maybe. But I do remember 500. So I've never dreamed, never in my wildest dreams did I think, oh, I'm writing a novel. So chapter 2 was done. That's the story to it. It's pretty straightforward. And now that I have my method, I guess the method to my madness, right? I have my tracker. I have my podcast. I have a schedule, right? I know when I'm going to write Monday through Friday. And that's not to say I actually did some writing just now, which, it's evening. It's not the morning time. But sometimes you just get inspired. And sometimes more than writing, sometimes it's a rewrite. Like, you know what? I don't think this person would have said it like that. Or I don't think the description of this appearance is as strong as I want it to come off, or as descriptive as it should be. So that's, and if you're a writer, if you're a creative, when imagination strikes, or inspiration, right? But imagination can strike too at any time. When it strikes, make sure, whether it's on your phone or pen and paper, just jot it down, because you don't know where that thought's going to run off to if you don't, because your thoughts will run, and it's good to catch them. It's good to use the pencil as a lasso. And then I'm going to leave you guys with this for this week. So I'm calling this chapter Twain, because it's chapter 2. Also because of Mark Twain, someone, if you're in the literary world, that name means something. And I thought it was only befitting to finish it off with something he would say, right? Or that he's penned. The secret of getting ahead is getting started. Thank you, Mark Twain. So get ahead, do something. Doesn't matter. All right. Love you guys. Have a great evening. Thanks again for joining me. This has been Right on Time. Bye.